If you are dating or in a relationship with a man and you want to know how to stop him from being manipulative with you, or maybe you think that maybe he might be manipulative, but you're not really sure, or maybe you know that he is manipulative and you want that behavior to stop, or maybe even if you're single and you're kind of in this situation where you want to make sure that you don't get manipulated in a relationship in the future, how do you make sure that you stop the manipulation? How do you recognize it? How do you make sure it doesn't happen to you? We're going to be talking about that right now today. Hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about how to stop from being manipulated. Okay, so the number one thing, I've got a bunch of different things here that you need to do. And the first thing that you need to do, and probably the most important one, is that you need to heal your past and get to a space where you get rid of any toxicity that you have. So why is this important? Why is it so important to heal the past? It's one of the things that most people don't want to do. And if you're unhealed, your insecurities, the walls that you have, and the triggers that you have will make it so that you'll find healthy behavior boring, right? So if somebody's being healthy and they're around you, you're going to be like, oh, like it's so boring, right? I can't wait for this toxicity to come back. Somebody with toxic behaviors, come back, because it's way more interesting, right? Which is true. It is more interesting. But when you've healed, all of a sudden it becomes less interesting and it becomes a big turnoff to you instead of being something that's exciting. If you don't heal yourself, you'll end up getting drawn into the drama. You'll allow men to walk all over you. You'll accept low-class behavior in. So you need to heal the wounds. You need to heal any childhood traumas that you have or past experiences with dating or relationships. You need to heal all of that stuff. If you're toxic, you'll project that onto other people and think that they're the ones who are toxic, which they might be, but you also are. And it becomes this big loop, right? Because you start spreading that toxicity around. You probably see this with toxic men, actually. They do something crazy and then think that you are the one that's the problem, right? And that is very common with toxic behavior because they don't even know, right? Like a lot of times you think that maybe they're being manipulative, but in reality, they think that you're the problem. They actually think that you're the problem. They aren't like just making that up and twisting it around to like mess with you. They legitimately think that you're the problem. And if you are toxic, that's how you're going to feel about other people. You're going to think everybody else is the problem. And that's why you have to heal. That's why you have to heal. Most of the time, people don't heal because or most people don't they don't try to hurt people, right? They're doing it because they actually think the other person is the problem. So make sure that you're not coming from a place of hurt or pain or living from your past lens of trauma, or else you'll end up bleeding onto people who didn't hurt you. And projection is just one of the ways that this happens. Instead, what you want to do is you want to do healing work. And so this is what it looks like. If you're not familiar with healing work, if you're like, hey, Matt, that's great, but how do I heal and how do I get to a space where I am not toxic and I want to make sure that I'm not toxic? And here's how you do it. You look at events that you have a lot of emotion around, right? If you still have a lot of emotion around an event in your past, that means that you haven't healed fully from it. And so what you want to do is you want to change the meaning of the past, shift around what that event means. Make it go from I'm not worthy, I'm unlovable, I'm somebody that is disposable, or whatever meaning you created around that event, and change it to this event is challenging me to be bigger and stronger and grow more and become a better woman and somebody who's capable of having the relationship that I want to have. You need to take ownership of who you are and how you behave. It's so very important. Most people don't want to do that. Let go and forgive whatever happened in the events. And it's not about them. Healing, forgiving, letting go. It's about helping you. It's about freeing you from past events and creating a space where you can grow and love yourself and all that kind of stuff. You need to learn to accept and love all parts of yourself, even the parts that you're most ashamed of. That's one of the most important things that you can do. And then change the story that you have of your life from being a story of struggle or trauma or a tragedy or whatever it is to a story of victory, a story of creating what you want, a comedy, a romantic escapade, a journey, something. Change what kind of a story you're living in your life. And we'll talk about this more in another live stream because it's a huge, huge topic. Number 2 is build your belief in your own value. So if you don't believe in your own value, you won't take a stand for yourself. You'll allow yourself to be disrespected by men, by women, by children, by everybody. And so you want to believe in your own value. You'll allow your needs to be pushed aside, so you don't want to do that. If you do believe in your value, you will voice what it is that you want. You'll take a stand for your own value and making sure that you're being treated really well. You'll stop getting sucked into drama. You'll walk away when someone isn't treating you with love, respect, and kindness. So when somebody is manipulating you, this is the way that you should think about it. You should look at it as a test. It's a test to see if you've learned to value yourself or not. And it'll keep happening over and over and over again with the same or different people until you actually learn the lesson and start taking a stand for your value, for being respected, for what it is that you want in your life, for knowing that you deserve what it is that you want to have in your life, the relationship, the money, the respect, the self-respect, whatever it is that you want. Number 3, we're on number 3. And number 3 is learn what manipulative behavior looks like. So this is another huge topic, and I could probably talk about this forever. But what you want to do is you want to know when someone is actually manipulating you. What does it look like? How is manipulative behavior there? I'm going to go over 3 of the most common ways here. That way you can recognize it if it's happening, and you can stop doing it if you're doing it to other people. And so the first one is guilt. And guilt is something which says that you should feel bad about yourself because you didn't do something that the person is trying to get you to do. And so it usually sounds something like, I can't believe you wouldn't do whatever it is. Right? Or you'd do it if you really loved me or cared about me, or, actually, whatever, right? You do this if you cared about me, right? It's just guilty behavior, right? It's somebody telling you that you should do something, and that because you aren't doing it, you should feel guilty about it, right? That's guilt. So the second kind of way of manipulative behavior is something called blame. And blame is just throwing the fault onto you. So they're like, hey, it's your fault, right? And so the way that this looks a lot of times is they'll say something like, I didn't do something because you didn't do this other thing, right? So they're blaming you for their own behaviors, right? I got angry. I was upset because you didn't take out the trash, or I didn't call you because you didn't tell me sweet things, or you didn't know that it was my birthday, or like whatever it is, right? That's blame. They're throwing the blame of their own bad behavior onto you. And it's manipulative, right? That's manipulative behavior. And then the third one that we're going to be talking about is victimhood. And victimhood is saying that you're hurting me because you're not doing what it is that I want you to do, right? So the way that this kind of looks is they'll say, and this is a very, very popular thing right now all over the world, specifically in the West. It's become like this really popular culture that we have of just jumping into victimhood, because when you're a victim, it's really easy to get a lot of attention. It's really easy to have people like give you sympathy and think you're important and all kinds of things. And so although it's what you're not getting when you're being a victim is love. What you're not actually getting is love. You're just getting temporary connection and in replacement of love. And so how does this look? What does this sound like when somebody is being in the victimhood thing? This is what it sounds like. They'll say something like, how can you break my heart when you know that I'm already hurting, right? How could you do that to me? You knew that I was hurting. How could you do this, right? Or how can you deny me this when you know that I need it, right? Like, how can you not go pick up something for me at the store when you know that I need it? Or, you didn't do it, whatever, right? So why would you do this to me, right? Why would you do this to me, right? That's victimhood. That's victimhood behavior, right? Man, this isn't a funny topic, so we're going serious here today. Let's talk about number 4. Number 4 is you need to make sure that you are not being manipulative. So why is it important that you make sure you're not doing it? So you have no grounds for accusing somebody else if you are engaging in the manipulative behavior yourself, right? And manipulation breeds manipulation. So if you start being manipulative to somebody, that draws in more manipulative behavior. Because if you come to somebody who has high self-esteem and they believe in their value and they care about themselves and you are manipulative, they're going to walk away. If you come up to somebody who has low self-esteem and they don't believe in their value and all that kind of stuff, and you're manipulative, they're going to start being manipulative back to you, right? And they're going to keep engaging it, and you're going to get sucked into this drama, and then you're going to be pointing fingers at each other, right? And then you're going to be going all over the internet talking about how you're dating a narcissist and how do I trick him back, right? And all this other stuff. And it just turns into a big painful thing for everybody involved, including us, me, the rest of our community, because we have to watch it. So instead, what you want to do is stop engaging in the behavior or getting sucked into the drama. Just stop it. Just stop it. Don't stop his manipulation only to start your own. If you're being manipulative, break those habits, right? Start recognizing when you might be manipulative and start breaking that habit and start doing other things instead, right? Instead, what you want to do is reach out to him in a loving way, right? Or pull back from him and take some time for yourself before you come back in a loving way, right? You always want to be loving. And that's one of the problems that a lot of people have, is that instead of just being loving, they turn to like anger and accusations and treating other people really badly. And you have to be loving at all times. Otherwise, it doesn't turn into a romantic relationship. It turns into a world of pain. And you don't want to be in a world of pain. At least I don't think you do. I don't think you do. So otherwise, you'll get stuck in manipulative relationships because the only people who tolerate it are people with low self-esteem or people who are also manipulative. Number 5. So change your perception of manipulative behavior. This is so important. Very, very important. This is something you want to think about and change and focus on. So most women get sucked into manipulative behavior and they try to change the man, right? They try to attract, get the man more attracted to them. They end up getting wrapped up in the drama. They feel more attracted to the guy, right? They try to do all this stuff, right? They get sucked into it. That's not what you want to do, right? Instead, you want to pull yourself back. When a guy's being manipulative, you don't jump in and try to fix him and, you pull back, right? You pull back, and instead you turn it into something and you start realizing that it's actually a big turnoff, right? We can actually control our associations that we have. A lot of our associations actually come from childhood, right? And so we watch our parents, and maybe they were manipulative to each other, or maybe one of our parents was manipulative to us. Usually for women, it would be the father figure. And we start associating love with manipulation. And so we're like, well, if he's not being manipulative, he doesn't love me. And then we're in this place where we're like, we need this drama and this pain and this manipulation because that's the model in our minds of what love looks like. And so you want to erase that. You want to take that and you want to turn it into a ball and you want to roll it up and you want to get a slingshot, like a really big slingshot, and shoot that ball up into the sun and allow it to just vaporize. And instead allow yourself to look at manipulative behavior as gross, right? It's disgusting. It's icky. It's like, manipulative behavior, and then just run the other direction from it, right? That's what you want to do. Just start running the other direction. So number six, learn to set some boundaries. So often boundaries look like an ultimatum with varying degrees of consequences. That's what boundaries look like, right? So a lot of times people talk about ultimatums and they're like, ultimatums, I hear that ultimatums don't work. Well, ultimatums don't work because people are trying to use ultimatums in a manipulative way, right? They're trying to manipulate somebody with the ultimatum. And that's not what you want to do. You want to be real about it, right? You want to say, hey, this behavior is not acceptable to me in my life. And if you're going to engage in this manipulative behavior, I'm going to leave. I'm going to walk out and we're not going to be involved with each other at all anymore. And so it looks something like this. It sounds something like, I'd love to talk to you some more, but I'm not going to talk to you if you keep saying or doing X. I'm not going to talk to you, right? And that can sound like it's being manipulative, right? Because you're saying, I am only going to engage in this behavior with you if you engage in this behavior with me, right? It sounds like kind of a manipulative thing, right? Which to a certain degree it is, but the way that I define manipulation is using something in a toxic way, right? Doing something in a toxic way, trying to influence behavior in a toxic way. And, we can expand on that more, but when you're setting boundaries, it's not manipulative because you're not doing it to force somebody into something. You're not doing it because you're trying to hurt somebody. You're not doing it because you're trying to control somebody. You're doing it because you know that you deserve something better than what you're experiencing right now. And so number 7, and this is the last one that we're going to be talking about, is reward manipulative behavior with silence. Reward it with silence. So like I said, most women, they get caught up, they get sucked into it. They're texting back, they're calling up, they're showing up, wagging their finger, they're accusing, they're getting sucked into the drama. Instead, you want to let them know that the behavior is not acceptable, right? Set your boundary. And then if he continues engaging in it, you just stop talking to him completely. You just stop talking to him until he's willing to engage in healthy behavior, or you end up finding somebody else who's actually a lot healthier than he is because you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody that's toxic. And so if it doesn't stop, you have to walk away and never, ever, ever look back. That's what you want to do. I'm going to go over the different things, different steps to stopping yourself from being manipulated. Number 1 is heal your past and get rid of any toxicity that you have. Number 2 is build your own belief in yourself, your own belief in your value. Number 3 is learn what manipulative behavior looks like. Number 4 is make sure that you aren't being manipulative yourself. Number 5 is change your perception of manipulative behavior Number 6 is learn to set boundaries. Number 7 is reward manipulative behavior with silence. And if it doesn't stop, then you just leave and you don't come back. That's what you're doing.